problem is a situation or circumstances that requires a solution to be described, explained, or predict. So the research problem is a specific issue and difficulty or a gap knowledge that you will to aim address in your research. So bear in your mind that some research will do both these things, but usually that the research problem focuses on one or the other. The type of research problem that you choose depends on your broad topic and interest and the type of the research you want to do. So this article helps you to identify a research problem when you write a research proposal, introductions, or you will have to formulate the problem statement or the research question. So there are the components of the research problem. There must be an individual or a group with some difficult or a problem. There must be the some objectives to be attained at. There must be alternative means for obtaining the objective one wishes to attain. There must remain some doubt in mind, or the researcher will regard to the selection of alternatives. There must be some environments to which difficulty pertains to. So there are selecting of the problem. So the research problem undertaken by the study must be carefully selected. If there is a knowledge gap in the area that need to be investigated, the research problem identifies this gap. Most researchers must find selecting a research problem is difficult. This difficult is not because there is limited range of researchable problems in science, but inability to locate the socially relevant topic without duplicating earlier studies. So there are the techniques to involve defining problem. Statement of the problem is a general way to understand the nature of the problem, surveying the available literature, developing the ideas through discussion, rephrasing the research problem in a working proposition. So, ano siya ang mga techniques to define the problem. So, the criteria selecting a research problem. So, dito is aspect of problem selection criteria listed below. The problem must be significant in the sense that its solution should make a contribution to the body organized knowledge in the field represented. So the researcher should demonstrate that the selected topic is likely to add information and existing knowledge by making more reliable knowledge. So the problem should researchable one. So there are many problems that related questions that you can only be subjected to philosophical rather than scientific investigation. So researchable problem must be concerned with the relationship between two or more variables. So the problem should be one will lead to new problems that further research. The problem must suitable research. So there are several aspects of these. First, the research must be personally important to the researcher and enhance his competence. Second, the problem should be an area about which one has both knowledge and experiences. The problem should be sufficient original. The problem must be feasible. The problem must be one that investigate and completed within the allocated time limit. Subject which is overdone should not be normally chosen. So, the narrow or too vague problem should be avoided. The importance of the subject, the qualification and training of the researcher, the cost involved, the time factor. So, Albert Einstein said, if we knew what it was we're doing, it would not be called research, would it? So that's Albert Einstein said. So there are the characteristics of a good research. So the problem is significant. The problem lead for the research. So for the research, a good research. The problem is researchable. Yes, of course. The problem is suitable. The problem is ethical. So let's go for the researchable and non-researchable problem. So for me, researchable problem is that kind of problem is to investigate. So ang non-researchable problem is we can answer the question through our mind or through our inner heart, or is an answer that we cannot investigate for. So researchable problems imply the possibility to empirical investigation. So non-researchable problem include explanation of how to do something, vague proposition, and value-based concern. So for example, for researchable, what are the achievement, the social skill difference between children attending an academically or socially oriented preschool program? So here is the example of non-researchable problem. So is the democracy a good form of the government? Maybe you answered yes, no, why? So that's all. Can crime be prevented? So that's the example of non-researchable problem. So I have a diagram here for no, not researchable, yes for researchable. So are some people born bad? Who commits more crimes, poor people or the rich people? This question is we need to research, and for this question is research or to investigate. For this question is we can answer in our own way. So formulating research question. It's the most important part of the research. The first step in the research process is selecting a suitable problem field chosen by a researcher. The choice of formulation of a suitable problem is one of the most difficult tasks for a researcher. So, ang research problem is for the researcher, it is a difficult task to do a research problem or research. The feature of a good research problem: significant, originality, feasibility. So developing a research question. So research question is a statement that identifies the phenomenon to be studied. So the formulation of uncertainty about that you wish to explore or resolve. It should be a central question of a research. It is a problem that someone would like to investigate. It is considered a situation that needs to be changed or addressed. Your research question is most critical part of a research proposal because it defines the research. So your research question is the most critical part of the research proposal because it defines the research, guides your inquiry, provokes an interest of the reviewer. So there are general characteristics, implies the possibility to investigation, identifies the need of research, provide focus. So the characteristics of good research questions are ethical, significant, clear, feasible, and researchable. So the common problem of the research question. The question is too broad and manageable. So here is the sample of the question that prohibitionism. What are the traits that make girls vulnerable for being forced into prostitution? So, evaluation of the research problem. So, muna siya mga evaluation. The following are points to consider when the choosing research problem. So, if you make a research problem, so muna siya mga questions na i-apply sa research problem. So, is the research problem researchable? Is the problem new? Is the problem significant? Is the problem feasible? Can the interest be sustained by it? Is the problem solvable? Will it lead to other research problems? Is it manageable in size? Are you or you become competent to solve it? So next, so business problem that makes research solve. So there are two categories. So the problem identification research and the problem solving research. For the problem identification research, so there are brand image. How your customer perceive your brand. Second, market characteristics. So your target market, for market characteristics, your target is the market characteristics. For the market potential, how profitable is your solution. For the market share, percentage of the total product sales compared to your competitors. So second, the problem solving research. So first, we have distribution research, where to sell your product. So this part of the market research can help your sales team determine where the product should be sold. So market segmentation, grouping customer by similar background or purchase behavior. So third, pricing research, shapes the ideal price of your product. For the last, product research, test your product. Okay, thank you for listening.